protect each other's mental space. If you ever need me, just call. I'ma come running, give it my all. Love is love, God wins. Keep your vibrations high and watch how your blessings. Why do you deny me? You chose the lie created for you just to hide in. Why obsessed about surviving? Fighting over creation made for all to thrive in. When love speaks, you say you're listening. I wonder if you hear me. Love is love, love is love. Always is, always was, will always be just love. Always complete, always enough. Love is love, love is love. Always is, always was, will always be just love. Always complete, always enough. Love is love. Was your heart ever my home? So cold that chaos sits on your throne. Stuck in a loop for how long? Your pride convinced the right is wrong. When I speak, you say you're listening. When will you ever hear me? Love is love, love is love. Always is, always was, will always be just love. Always complete, always enough. Love is love, love is love. Always is, always was, will always be just love. Always complete, always enough. Love is love. Was your heart ever my home? So cold that chaos sits on your throne. Stuck in a loop for how long? Your pride convinced that right is wrong. When I speak, you say you're listening. When will you ever hear me? Love is love, love is love. Always is, always was, will always be just love. Always complete, always enough. Love is love, love is love. Always is, always was, will always be just love. Always complete, always enough. Love is love.
Man, there's so much power. So much power in the words of that song. Is just so much there. I hope everyone's in good spirit, in a good mental space. I know we all are going through something, you know, uh physically, right? There's always obstacles in the way physically. We all have these problems. We all go through different things, in this physical world, on this physical plane. And you know, maybe more people need to dedicate more things to other people and appreciation, right? Just to show some appreciation. We here at the Atlas family, we don't want the negative. All right. We don't want the negative. You guys can keep it. You guys can keep the negative. We are moving out of that negative, sector of whatever it is that you got, but in appreciation to everybody that we have, ran into. We are dedicating this page to the Atlas family. So this page is now the Energy of Atlas page is now the Atlas Family Studios, where we will be posting everything, that you guys want to post, so on and so forth. One second. So we'll be using that page now. With the music that we have, we already have a page for that. That's Atlas Family Music Productions, or Atlas Family Music Productions. We already have a page for that. So every time we post new music, it automatically goes to that page. But this is a page for everybody who's got, like, the comedy skits that you be doing, cartoons, anything of that nature. So this will be the page for that. So we will be using this page for that in particular. So this is the page right here, and we'll be using it. It's no longer the Energy of Atlas page. It is now Atlas Family Studios. So it's Atlas Family Studios. We'll post it in the Discord. I think we can put in for it. We can probably try to put in for it, a resubmit. I think I got a reappeal on this page or something. However it works, we'll give it a couple of months, post some stuff on there, and see. Uh, I mean, it was, the numbers wasn't bad on that page. It was not to say anything. It's uh just giving back to people. Everything is deleted off of that page. There is no content on that page at all. So it's up to us what algorithm you put that page in, based off of what we post, what we hashtag, what we at. Um, so there's no shorts, no shorts. Everything is deleted. See, I never was in this for currency. I never was in this for money, financial gain, anything like that. We've always been in this for the people. We've always been in this for the unity, for the love. So, you know, everything is deleted off the page. The page has a fresh start. There's no lives on that page, anything like that. Um so that page is going to be dedicated to the Atlas family. Shout out to the Atlas family for everything that you guys do, everything that you guys provide. Like, everything is, because of you guys showing support, showing love. And I just want to show some of that back by giving you a place that you can post whatever, whatever it is that you guys want to post, from the Discord. We'll figure out how to get everything over there, to that space, or whatever the case may be. But like I say, nothing is outside of you guys. Like, everything is, always was, and always will be you guys. So we're going to move forward with that page doing that. We'll figure out something for the other page. Apparently we have enough to where, as though every page can have something different on it. Every page can be dedicated to something different. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to do more unified things. Maybe when we go, okay, so what we'll do with the third page, what we'll do with that page is, anytime we take a field trip, we'll use that page to, like, record the field trips on. So if we go and we sit on somebody else's panel, we'll use the Energy of Atlas page, uh, the Energy Atlas page, to sit on panels and stuff like that, or whatever the case may be. We'll find something to do. It'll be our field trip channel. Speaking of field trips, we do have, I think Golden has invited us over to her panel. I think she might have an interview with someone. Now, once again, we are skeptical. We don't know who the person is that she has the interview with. She says she has an interview. She's inviting us, to come over there. So, 8 o'clock tonight. I don't know what time that is for everybody. Roughly 8 o'clock here, probably 5 o'clock on the West Coast. And then you can check your local listings for whatever time it might be in your area. So she's says she has an interview with someone. Hopefully, we'll see how it goes. Her and, I guess co-host Nafisa or whoever. Yes, Nafisa, if I'm not mistaken. So we'll go over and listen to them, see what they have to say, see what it is that they're talking about. Um, so with that being said, let's get into today's discussion. Basically, the history of his story, right? Everyone always argues the history of his story, right? We know about the Holy Trinity. We understand that something it's more than what they are explaining to us. We know that it's more to this than what they are explaining to us. We have that level of understanding to say, like, what, something is deeper than what they're allowing us to know. And sometimes when you scratch the surface of things, you'll be just that, right at the surface of things, right? But it's deeper than that, right? It's deeper than that. The history of his story has been repeated over and over again. That's why he had many names, because throughout the timeline of him, he went through many different versions of himself. I mean, they did, excuse me, they did say that, you know, this book was 66 different interpretations of one man. So this is 66 different people. All the books of the Bible, Old Testament and New Testament, is 66 books of the story of one man. So if we are to understand exactly what that means, it's saying that all of these books are talking about one person. All of the books are talking about one person. I mean, from Benjamin to Jacob to John to whatever stories that you're hearing, it is talking about one persona, right? Who had loving, kind energy, meditated for the world, practiced world peace, you know, gave us different ways of how we can unify, how we can be in a practice of this, right? So the law of one practice is practice unity consciousness. That's not saying we all have to have the same opinion. That's not saying that we all got to think the same. That's just saying that we all are connected to one consciousness, right? It's not saying that you have to, oh, I got to believe what you believe and so on and so forth. That's not what that's saying, right? So when you're practicing the law of one, you're allowed to keep your same religious teachings. You're allowed to keep everything that makes you who you are. You're allowed to keep all of that stuff, right? So, practice loving yourself. The only way you can love something outside yourself is if you love yourself first, right? So once you practice loving yourself, you're automatically going to practice loving others, because the practice of loving oneself is the practice of loving others. It goes together, you know? Think about how your moods are when you're in a loving atmosphere, when you're in a loving state of being, when you in love with somebody, right? You almost have like a skip to you. You almost have like a bounce to your walk. You're happy. No one can't, take that from you. Someone do something to you, you like, it's okay, everything's fine, because you know somebody that love you, you're in the loving atmosphere of yourself, right? So when things happen, you can easily allow it to rub off. You can easily say, you know what, that's okay, that's fine, right? But when you in one of those moods, you like, nobody better not try me today. Today ain't the day for it. I'm ready to curse somebody out right now, right? Some people wake up like that. Some people wake up in those moods. Some people wake up messed up. Some people wake up with intentions of, that level of, wish a mother effer would, right? And, Bernie Mac said it in a joke, but it's the way people are walking around now. It's not jokeful anymore. Like, people are walking around, trigger happy, if I could say, waiting to snap, waiting to go off, waiting to, tear something down, cut into something, be at a difference, so on and so forth. So we have to be careful, be cautious of what it is that we're allowing in, be cautious of what it is that we allowing, to take place, so on and so forth. So you got, practicing love, practicing loving the earth and nature, right? One of those things that is of nature is not like the carnal nature, right? It's not like, oh, we got to eat. So eating like animals is getting back in touch with nature. Eating when you're eating with your hands is getting back in touch with nature. That's not getting back in touch with nature. Practicing your kindness, your ability to, cooperate, understand, and work with others. Those are, natural things. The ability to, grow with one another, right? We didn't always have the society that we have, right? At some point, the foragers had to get along with the hunters, right? So when it says, practicing, loving the earth and nature, it's a reason why those two things are separate. It's a reason why it says practice loving the earth and nature, because you would think that nature is practicing loving the earth, right? But it's not, because the natural things is love. Naturally, we have these loving energies, kindness, compassion, right? We are not practicing the things that are natural to humankind, right? Somewhere along the line, we started practicing animalistic things. And now you guys are trying to make it seem like the animal way of being is the natural way of being. And it's not, right? We didn't start off like that, because we came down here with the operation of being gods of this planet. So it's no way we was gods of this planet and still did the carnal thing, right? That's something that you guys are creating a normalicity of, or whatever, normality. Like, you guys are making that a normal nature, eating with your hands, low vibrational carnal ways. That's not nature. That's not your natural instinct. Huh? Think about it. You really think that you was no. No, the essence that is breathed inside of you, the spirit, the Holy Ghost, that of which is you really think that that is something, just some carnal, savage, the charger? Oh. So, and this next one is a strong one, right? Practicing service to others, right? When you practice a service to others, it's not saying that you have to be a slave to that person. It's not saying that when you practice a service to others, it's basically giving you an understanding to say that you want good for everyone else, right? It's not saying that you have to do what they tell you to do. It's not saying that you have to be submissive or whatever. It's just sometimes you want the best for somebody, and your best is not their best, or your idea of best is not their idea of best. Some people think, a service to them is, forking over some money. Some people think a service to them is, cleaning their house and always listening to them. Some people think a service to them is never telling them no. You know what I mean? Like, that's not really being a service. Like, me wanting the best outcome for you, no matter what, that would be a great service to others, right? Me doing for you without wanting anything in return, that would be a great service to others, right? A lot of people do stuff for people, but they got strains. They put these strains on there. You don't know about the strains. You ain't supposed to know about them. You supposed to think that they're operating out of goodness, right? But they got strings. We all got some strings, right? We do something for somebody and we say, okay, we're going to give them this amount of time to change, do better. And then if they don't change within that time, that's a string. We try to help each other out the best we can. And then when our help is not appreciative, we ready to, that's a string. And the reason why I say that is because we come from a society that groomed us in a quid pro quo mindset. So it's like you do for people, but in your mind, you're expecting that person to pay homage and return the favor, right? Because it's supposed to be each one teach one. It's supposed to be do unto others as you want done unto yourself. So you're walking around with a mindset of let me do for people in hopes that people will do for me, right? But that's not the society that we live in. You know, we live in a society of takers, right? And the reason why I say we live in a society of takers is because everybody pretty much is looking for the handout, the easy way up, the fast track. You look at social media, look how many people are manipulating the algorithm with false numbers. Look how many people scared to take that long journey of grinding it out to get people on their page, to get genuine people, right? It's like, oh, they gave me a way where I can throw money at the system and I can gain these fraudulent numbers that makes it look like I'm doing big. But really, reality, you struggling. You know what I mean? Reality, you getting on a bus and you did somehow, some way, we got to make the best of this. Somehow, some way, all of this unification that we're doing, all of this talking that we're doing online, all of this getting to know each other that we're doing, we have to make the best. We got to these opportunities to reach out and get in contact with people, or to reach out and be a part of this. This is not lightly. This level of unification, being able to get on a page and actually get numbers in your room, it is difficult. It is hard. People think that I got some type of magic crystal or something that's doing this. They all jumped on me within this algorithm because they think I'm doing some. Oh, it's no way that he was able to build that page that fast. There's no way he got them numbers in there that fast. I mean, Cultivate with Kai and them been here for 5 years and they can't get nobody in their room. And this person, been here for 10 years, still DJing in his garage and can't get nobody to listen to his tune. Like, thank you, Rent. I am the crystal. My crystals inside my life water is vibrating, that is changing the light water that is around me, that is allowed to seep into the consciousness of everyone else, that makes them, drift to this page. When you find out the connection that we actually have with the ether that is inside technology, then you find out just how connected we are universally, and practice conscious expansion. Practicing conscious expansion is just what we're doing right now online, right? Conscious expansion is not about breath work. Breath work is about circulation, right? So when you do breath work, that's okay. So when you're meditating, right? You meditate, you're getting your breathing right, you're practicing breath work, because what you're doing is you're using the oxygen that is inside your body to move certain fluids up and down the waters of your body, right? So breath work is important, but practicing conscious expansion is not the same as breath work. For people to tell you that, oh, when you meditate, it's about breath work. No, it's not. Meditation is more like a yoga thing, right? Go to a meditation class with a group, then you feel the energy that is present. Go to a meditation class with a collective, then you feel the energy that comes with that, right? Create a meditation group and everyone, sit and meditate at that particular time. You can walk through the sky if you get everybody on the same page at that particular time. It's the same thing that they did when they were, alien hunting or going to search for aliens, or whatever they UFO sightings, however it used to work, right? This was a group of people that was conjuring up different things, right? So all these different elites, they tell you about a collective mind, just like they tell you about an instinctive mind, like your instincts, right? They tell you about your emotional mind. You have emotional brain, right? Inside your head, your brain actually has 5 hearts, right? So there's 5 different parts of the brain that can be pumping. Maybe the biblical text called this the Ezekiel wheel of the sky, knowing that the sky was your brain, right? So when you're practicing conscious expansion, that is what we're doing right now. When you are engaging in intellectual conversation with other beings, you are expanding your consciousness. When you open up your mind to someone else's perspective, point of view, or observation of this world, you are consciously expanding, right? When you allow yourself to shift into someone else's dimension or version of this world, it is a conscious expanding. So when we're online and we're gathering and we're dropping jewels on each other and we're sitting in the same space with each other, this is a form of conscious expansion. Okay. Gathering with like-minded people, communicating. That's why it says, when 2 or more are gathered, right? You might not know what name you are gathered in. You might be gathered in wisdom. You might be gathered in enlightenment. You might be gathered in knowledge. You might be gathered in truth, but you're gathering in something that belongs to creation. Either way, however you look at this, greater things is happening, right? Yes, it's just an interpretation, right? The stars are just another creation of God. It can be used as a calendar for spiritual events. Yes, absolutely. The stars, the sky can be used as a calendar for spiritual events. That's why they knew the whale was going to swallow up Jonas or go through 3 states that was named Jonas. That's why they knew that the cradle of light was going to return back to the Lyran constellations, also known as Lucifer Comet. That returned back to the Lyran constellations 420 of last year. So they knew that the Aquarius sky was going to mark the return of the cradle of light, which is literally considered to be a part that affects the Aborealis, and the Aborealis is connected to consciousness. If you look it up, it'll tell you that the Aborealis is connected to consciousness, which is connected to plasma, which is connected to energy. And we are energy. So if all of these things is connected, then our consciousness has to be connected to the Aborealis. Our consciousness has to be connected to, the universe and what's taking place in the universe, right? So, kudos for the expansion of our consciousness. Great things is happening. Okay. I mean, I'm excited for this. I'm excited for this level of expansion. There's never been nothing, on this level. You couldn't be here at a greater time. You couldn't exist at a greater time. This is the time that we all waited for. Like you could not have, the universe, you just couldn't be here at a greater time. Yes, some people are not seeing the greatness of this time because they're so focused on the negative, right? So they're going to come and they're going to put the fear in you. They're going to try to make it seem like, oh, so you telling me that these people doing this stuff to kids is a great time? Da, 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 this. No, I'm telling you it's great because all of it's getting exposed. I'm telling you it's great because, even Trump is passing bills that states like if anybody do anything to a child, they can be facing, such and such or whatever. So, it's a great time for the revealing of all these truths. It's a great time for us to be standing in the light. A lot of people are telling on themselves right now, and that's a beautiful thing. Look at Sherelle, look at Danat, look at, they telling on themselves. Don't think about it. So, and then, practice responsible co-creationship, right? Practicing responsible co-creatorship, it's a it's a gift to do that, right? To be able to take all this destruction and turn it around into creation, right? To be able to add on what is the greatest level of alchemy, right? To try not to take anything off anyone's plate, but to add to it, right? Don't take anything away from someone's history, someone's trauma, someone's tragedies. They all exist. what people are going through inside their mind, it's happening. You know, some people are not able to shake it. Some people are not able to see through it. Some people are not able to get to the light. Some people are not able to see through the darkness. Not everybody is making it. Okay? So you have to respect what everybody's going through. Respect what's happening. Not everybody is making it. Okay? But we still in it together. All right? We're still in it together. Okay? So little song break. Let's take a little song break.
If someone says I told you so, then what is destiny? 'Cause if I know, then I can show the very best of me. Dividing lines, dividing times, sometimes not our choosing. If we want more, we should explore. There will be no losing. Let love guide you. Let love be the light. Let love guide you. Let love be the light. Let love guide you. Let love be the light. It's inside you, shining day and
Your words are
night.
more powerful than anything. You know what I mean? It's the
If
reason
someone says I
that
know the
if we
way,
are made in the image of
should
Him,
we just
then
go
He speaks
follow,
to existence.
or do the
Let there
ones
be
who
light.
take the
Light. So if
lead,
I'm made in the image
end up feeling
of
hollow?
then I can speak
Blurring
to
lines
existence
and
all.
blurring
So
times,
if we
this
already
is what
know
they're
that we are made in
doing.
the image, then we'll carry
'Cause if
ourselves
we
better
know
because we'll
inside our
know who it
hearts,
is.
then it's worth pursuing.
First,
Let
you
love
have
guide
thought.
you.
That's coming to realize
Let love
I am.
be the light. Let
You
love
start
guide
grasping,
you.
then you start realizing
Let
vulnerability.
love
You
be the
can see a certain light.
light. Let
A lot of people
love
right now
guide you.
unalive.
Let love
You know,
be
they're
the
walking themselves to the
light.
grave. They're always
It's
talking about the
inside
people.
you.
They always talking about death. They always, you know what I mean? They're walking themselves to it. Look at Biggie. You know what I mean? He came out with Born Again or Life After Death or whatever it was, whatever albums he came out with. Then what? What happened? Yeah, man, I night I can't sleep. I toss and turn. Yeah, you spoke that into existence, and because collectively he had a group, you named the album. So therefore, everyone that went out and bought it, everyone collectively contribute to that energy that haunted him. You know what I mean? Like when you know what I mean, like say like Nipsey Hussle. You know what I mean? Like in this world, these energies, these forces, they press upon us and present us with challenges. This is the wonderful and fearfully energies that put together to make mankind. So these energies, press upon us, and then we fall victim to whatever manipulation these energies present to us. They can give us a false image. They can make us think that all of our dreams are about to come true. They tell the story all the time. I met the devil in the woods on a dark road, or these different storylines that they tell you. These are real. I mean, their perception of it is what it is, you know, but was presented to them in the form of whatever it was presented to them in. The devil came to me in the form of this or the form of that. You know, they tell you about these different energies. They tell you about these different forces. They tell you about these. You better go upstairs. Five. Oh. So yeah, so all these different energies. And listen, make sure y'all join the Discord. Join the Discord, because y'all know that's where the party going down at.
The party's going on in the Discord. You can never be bored in the Discord. When we're not here, we're over there, socializing and sharing. So I better see you in the Discord. We got music, we got art. Love is love, sets us apart. It's a virtual town, so inviting. You know they want you around, it's exciting. Oh, the party's going on in the Discord. Ooh, you can never be bored in the Discord. When we're not here, we're over there, socializing and sharing. So I better see you in the Discord. Story time, movie night, we get messy and watch the fights. It's a virtual town and it's glowing. Very busy with the love we've been showing. Oh, the party's going on in the Discord. Ooh, you can never be bored in the Discord. When we're not here, we're over there, socializing and sharing. So I better see you in the Discord. 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 The party's going on in the Discord. You can never be bored in the Discord. When we're not here, we're over there, socializing and sharing. So I better see you in the Discord. In the Discord. In the Discord. In the Discord. In the Discord.
So if you're looking down this, if you're looking at this breakdown and it says spring, summer, fall, winter, and it's giving you Aries, Taurus, and Gemini as the spring, and then it's giving you Cancer, Leo, and Virgo as the summer. It's giving you Libra, Scorpio, Sagittarius as the fall, and Capricorn, Aquarius, Pisces as the winter, right? And we see that repeated, over and over again. In history, if you etch out history from Egyptian mythology, Roman mythology, even going far back, Sumerian, even the emerald tablets, you see this same thing repeated over and over again. Now, this is the same as, let me see if I could find it real quick. Man, okay, I can't find it. The picture of it, man. Okay, I can't find a picture of it. Ouch. But it's the same breakdown as our celestial sky. Like, so this breakdown of what you see right here, Aries to Gemini representing spring, this will be a part of the brain. So this would be the physical, right? Aries, Taurus, Gemini, physical, right? And then Cancer, Leo, Virgo, emotional, right? And then Libra, Scorpio, Sagittarius, this would be the mental, right? And then Capricorn, Aquarius, and Pisces would be the spiritual, right? So this is what's taking place in the sky, right? So we're in the time or the age of Aquarius, and this has nothing to do with the Aquarius zodiac sign. The age of Aquarius and the Aquarius zodiac sign has nothing to do with one another, even though they have the same name, right? Because we go through each and every one of these skies, right? That's why we at the 12 lunar cycle, coming into the 13th lunar cycle. So we're coming into the 13th lunar cycle. And because they made the 13th such a mystery, here we are, lost within the soul, because that's what the 13th is a representation of, the soul. So this is your spiritual aspectation of life. So we went through different stages where Aries, Taurus, and Gemini, we went through the physical stage, right? And then Cancer, Leo, and Virgo, this was the, emotional battle, right? This is why Virgo, the only female in the zodiac, supposedly, just like, in the Quran, Mary is the only woman that holds a book in the Quran, right? And then you have, Libra, Scorpio, Sagittarius, which is, the fall, and then Capricorn, Aquarius, Pisces, which is the winter. But since we are in the Aquarius sky, we have to learn about the sun, which is the 13, the mystery 13, the one that put the 12 together. So we are in our 13th lunar cycle. In the 13th lunar cycle, we're in the time of the sun. Uranus is considered to be the heavenly planet, or the son of heaven. So Uranus is a representation of this. And if you look at the planets, these are all planetary energies. There's a reason why not only do the zodiac signs have characteristic traits or, feelings and emotions. If you look at the planets also come with characteristic traits and feelings and emotions. That means at certain times, when we are in these certain times of these zodiacs, these are the energies that's coming in through these zodiacs, through these forces, unseen, unknown. So there's energies that are coming in to our verse. There's energies that are coming in to our world that are affecting our body, whether it's coming in through, it could be something blowing in the wind, but we can say that they're coming in through the solar flares, that we can say that it's affecting our light body or the plasma field around our body. Sometimes you wake up and you feel drained. Even though you got enough sleep, you still feel drained. You might tell yourself, I don't know what's going on with me. I just feel drained. I feel like something's pulling on my energy, so on and so forth. And you'll take a nap to try to replenish yourself, right? But this could be, the energy forces of this world that are pulling on your energy, draining your energy, using your energy for something else. So it's just like alchemy, it's just like Dragon Ball Z. When Goku wanted to create a spirit bomb, he needed everyone to lend their powers, So if there's a spiritual battle taking place in the higher heavens, then our powers are being used. So our vessels are being put in motion to be used for higher, entities that are needing the energies that are accumulating from our bodies. So some of us are pushing out high levels of positive energy that's being used in this battle, right? And then some people are pushing out low vibrational energies that's being used in this battle. Now, someone is or something on a higher plane and a different dimension of density is using your energies. Everyone is using energy. That's why, because holding it in is so good. Look at Drax sleeping in the dang on.
I know, in the toy box.
Yeah, Drax sleeping in the toy box. How long? You said 25? Three to five. He ain't making it upstairs.
When you don't know what you're gonna do, and you're down and out, they're there for you. They be at the spot, they care for you. Oh, where for you? Yeah, they there for you. When you got good news, they win with you. Got your different views, still in with
Y'all
you.
hit that CA, hit that CA.
Every day for you.
$10, $15 go a long way.
They slay for you.
Hit that CA.
It's so nice to
Please and thank you. Appreciate the ones who already did.
appreciate it, and to know that it's real. We're gonna fight every fight.
If you're not in this country, then hit that beat, hit that pay guy, you know what I mean?
We're gonna move as one, never quit till it's done. Stay focused,
You guys
selective,
gotta
Atlas
tap the
collective.
screen, TikTok.
Through the stormy skies,
I'll talk
they
to you
fight for you.
quick.
When the world denies, they lie for you. They rock with you, on the block with you. Yes, they tick-tock and lock with you. When things go wrong, they there for you. You haven't known them long, and they're there for you. Always standing strong.
If you got videos or short,
so band with you. Yeah, they band with you. Oh, it's so nice to feel.
if you got any shorts or videos that you want to post on the Atlas Family Studio page, let me know. If you got any stories, any cartoons that you want to post, let me know.
Every fight as a collective. We're gonna do just what's right as a collective. We're gonna move as one,
Put it in the
never
Discord.
quit till it's done. Stay focused and selective. Atlas collective. We're gonna fight every
This is
fight
called
as a
Atlas Collective.
We're gonna do just what's right as a collective. We're gonna move as one, never quit till it's done. Stay focused and selective. Atlas collective. Fight as a collective. Do what's right as a collective. Move as one, won't quit till it's done. Focused and selective. Atlas collective.
Damn. That is beautiful right there.
Appreciate it, and to know that it's real. We're gonna fight every fight as a collective. We're gonna do just what's right as a collective. We're
It'll
gonna
probably take
move as one, never quit till it's done. Stay focused and
Amazing.
selective. Atlas collective.
I mean,
Stay focused and selective. Atlas collective.
everybody was taking pictures. Your mom and them was taking pictures up there. Yeah. But that's further up north. That's why I say, like, the study of the sky, to me, when I started studying it, like, it was so amazing because I was like, oh, so with inside the Hercules constellations, there's constellations. So, like, I started writing down, like, Hercules family, you know, bloodline according to the constellations, Orion's bloodline according to the, and then, like, kind of find out, like, Australia doesn't see the same constellations that we see. They have different constellations in their sky. When you start looking at it, it was different continents that was marking and telling them that their sky was different. Like in the north, you know, if you get to Alaska, they have 6 constellations in their sky that we can't see. And then the south, they got 6 constellations that we can't see. That would be a representation of the 12 that we see and the 12 we don't see. That explains why our 24-hour clock is made up of 6 hours a day and 12 hours a day and 12 hours a night, because it's the 12 you see and the 12 you don't see. It's duality. Like you have 12 chakra systems, but there's a negative side and a positive side to each chakra system. It's duality. You know what I mean? So everything is a manipulation of that original duality. And we are favoring the lower vibration more than we are the higher vibration. What is this? System notification. Maybe doing weird stuff. Y'all make sure I posted today. What video I post today? This is bull crap. I be trying to. What is it? Elections are important moments of community conversation. What? Bro, how is it that how is it that TikTok trying to tell me that my post is what? What? The whole TikTok is interfering with anything, any type of election. What the fuck are they talking about? I don't know. It was a post that I made on TikTok that they said something about. I don't even be knowing half that stuff I be saying. I just be reposting it on there. It's like, here you go. Here you go. Here you are. But sometimes you have to realize it's deeper than, a lot of the stuff of what it is that we looking at. Is this deeper? It's a lot deeper. The stories is a lot deeper. A lot of people are scared to look into these stories for some reason. They're scared to look into these stories because they're scared to be better. They're afraid to be better, or maybe they're afraid to fail. Some type of whatever it is, people are afraid to challenge themselves, to be more. You have to want to challenge yourself to be more. A lot of people don't challenge themselves to be more, because the reason why is because they don't see themselves as deserving of something better. A lot of people that see themselves deserving of something better, they strive for it. They strive for that of which is something better. When you want something better, you try to strive for something better. You try to move towards something better, and you try to put yourself around other personas that also, strive for that betterment, and that's just, look, there's so many people out here that are, in the manipulation field. And I want to take that off the table. I want you guys to know exactly what it is that, people are, doing, exactly how it is that people are working when it comes to, just building with each other. This is what's on the table. We are moving towards a better, foundation, and it's got to start somewhere. You might not need it now. You might want to invest in something like this just so in the future you might need a place to go, you know what I mean, with the farm and everything like that. You don't know. The future is looking crazy right now as far as what's going on and everything that's happening. So, you might want to, throw some things this way just to invest in something greater. You know what I mean? I know uh since I've been on this journey, I came across a lot of people, and a lot of people are feeling it on the inside, you know. A lot of people are feeling it on the inside that they need to, yeah, in a minute. You know, and it's a shift taking place. Like, you see a lot of people, and maybe that's what they wanted. Maybe they knew that people on here operate in pride and ego, and they wanted to test the pride and ego of some of these creators to see if they operate with integrity, whatever the case may be. but they're not in the operation of integrity. None of these people are humble. They don't humble themselves. They're not bringing themselves to a grander understanding of this verse. They're not bringing themselves to a grander understanding of this, reality. So therefore we're stuck in a time loop. Um, so now it's like the universe is like, okay, we were stagnant for too long, and now the universe is like, all right, let's kick it up a gear. So now we have to learn how to love. We have to learn how to understand each other. We have to learn how to, do right by one another, and have integrity and stand up to all of this bullying that's going on in the world, all of this division that's going on in the world. We are divided to the point where people don't even know themselves anymore, So at this point, the greatest way out is unity. That's the greatest way out right now. And it's not unification on those small levels that they making it on. Oh, I'm only unifying with my people. That ain't unity. I'm only unifying with indigenous. That ain't unity. I'm only, that ain't whatever it is that you fraudulently telling yourself in your mind. That ain't it. All right. The universe has decided that what is always will be and always was. So that means the universe knew that Caucasian was going to be created in the 1600s. So don't you can't eliminate what the universe already knew was going to happen. You can't be like, oh, they're an abomination. If the universe already knew that they were going to be created, then the universe already knew that they were going to be here. So you can't consider them whatever it is that you're trying to consider them. But the black tea sector is changing. You can't have unity without Jesus. You don't even know what Jesus is. That's what I'm saying. Like some of y'all Bible thumpers, y'all don't even know what the energy of Christ is. That's the amazing thing about you guys running around and forcing this story on people. You don't know the story yourself. The Bible told you to lean not on your own understanding, but you went and leaned on somebody else's understanding that wasn't supposed to lean on their understanding. The Bible also says that we're supposed to do everything in our power to be at peace with one another. Are you doing everything in your power to be at peace with one another? I don't think so. Not if you on my page causing, friction. If you on my page causing friction, you know what I mean? You can't be doing everything in your power to be at peace. But it's okay. Y'all get them likes up. Likes up. Somebody hit me up on that green app. Hit that green app one time.
You know that I need them.
Can we see a 25?
In the bush behind them trees.
Can we see a
give it to
50?
you freely, please. Baby, don't
what about a 75?
Oh,
I seen a 15. Was that a 15? Oh, shout out. Somebody did it.
Get them to 100% for the Alice family band. Likes up, get them likes up. Time to raise them likes up. Get them to 100%. It's the Alice family band.
This was the Pope's son for crying out loud.
Yeah. I know y'all want to see it. Say you want to see it. Yeah, I know you want to see it. I know you want to see it. Say you want to see it.
Well, come up then, Richard. Richard, come up and speak the truth then.
Cause it's no more freebies. You came here to see me, please. Baby, don't you tease. Get them likes up. Get them likes up. Time to raise the likes up. Get them to 100%.
Hold on, YouTube. We got some likes. Yeah. Now, what's your dilemma?
There's no dilemma.
So what are you said that without Jesus, right?
Yeah.
You said without Jesus,
Without Jesus, because you're talking about unity, right?
you can't have unity without Jesus. That's what you said, right?
Exactly. Well, I'm explaining the point if you give me a chance.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, so all this, and look, that's a great desire to have, to want the world to come together in unity, to be of one mind, to be of just one view, and not have any arguing, not have any conflict, not have any wars, not have any of those things, right? It's a great thing. I think that's awesome. That's a great desire to have. But when it comes down to it, there's so much friction and so much division in the world because everybody operates according to what's good for them. You can break that down into race. You can break that down into socioeconomic classes. You look at everywhere across the world, even people of the same race break themselves down into different tribes and into different ideologies, right? So the only way for people to truly find unity is by possessing the same spirit. And so mankind was created to be in a relationship with God through Jesus Christ. So where
Now I want you to think about what you're saying, because what you're saying goes against what you're saying. And let me explain why it goes against what you're saying. Because you're doing the same thing that you're saying other people are doing. You're basically saying only through the perception that you were taught can mankind reach peace, when that can't be true, because they had an understanding of peace before the biblical text was written in the idea that you are stating right now.
So there's a verse of scripture in the Bible. Most people, even Christians, have not heard of it. And this is something that Paul the Apostle talked about. And it's this term in the Greek mysterion, which is where we get the English word mystery from. So the mystery, as Paul the Apostle talked about it, was something that was hidden from ages and from generations. So basically, everyone up until the time of Jesus didn't know. None of the Old Testament prophets, none of the sages, not even Adam himself, not even the first people. No one knew what this mystery was. This is the plan of God for which he created the entire universe, was for human beings to come into union with God the Father through Jesus Christ.
That's not true. You hold on. Listen to what you're saying. I want you to listen to what you're saying. You're saying before Christ, this was a mystery, right? Now,
Before Christ was known.
All right, before Christ was known, this was a mystery, right? And you keep on using Jesus, right? Jesus is a letter that did not exist at this particular time, right? The letter J. The letter J did not exist, right? The letter L did not exist, right? If you go back to Greek mythology, Latin, or any of the spell that is cast in the word, right? They were talking about energies and forces unknown, right? Forces beyond mankind, forces that you can't even see, right? So when it's explaining to you about Christ, it's not explaining to you about a physical person. It is explaining to you about different energies and forces that move through this world, right? So Christ is an energy. Would you agree not?
Well, no, I wouldn't agree. Christ is a spirit. So
Okay, Christ is a spirit, right?
yeah, this is
So
where
what's a spirit? What's a spirit? Is a spirit not energy?
well, everything is energy.
Okay, so you see how you're playing a manipulation of words, right? I said Christ was an energy, right? And then you said no, he's a spirit. And then I said it's spirit, not energy. And then you said everything is energy. So Christ is a spirit, and Christ is energy, and Christ is.
Let me answer that.
You
Real
just
quick. So
you just answered it.
if you talk about energy, right? Even the universe, everything that we
No,
see.
we're not talking about energy. We're talking about Christ.
Well, you just brought it up, so that's why I'm saying.
No. You. We're talking about Christ. We're talking about Christ.
Well, listen. Well, you brought up the word energy.
I brought up the word energy, but we're not talking about energy. So if you want to play, if you want to play a games of word with friends, they got apps for that, right? If you here to seek understanding and you're actually all right, all right, listen, excuse me, I got my hand up. Excuse me. Excuse me. Excuse me. I got my hand up. Look, my hand is up. That means I'm trying to be polite. Look, my hand is up. I'm trying to be polite. You keep cutting me off and not letting me speak. Now, I need you to make that make sense, that you came to somebody else's panel, right? And you keep cutting the host off, showing your level of ignorance.
You want to speak, so I'm trying to speak.
I didn't want to hear you speak.
You said come up.
I said come up so you can explain why you think that nobody can get through this without knowing the physical deity that is Christ.
Well, how can I explain if I can't speak?
Because you never explained it. You actually was just now about to go into a conversation about energy. Do you not realize the last 45 seconds you was trying to derail, and I'm the one that told you to focus on what you came up for, which was to talk about Christ? I literally just now reminded you to focus on what we were. Okay. Oh, see, you see what they do? You see what they do, YouTube? As soon as you catch them in their own shenanigans, they try to make it seem like, oh, I'm gonna pray for you and get up. Good day, sir. You have a great day. Let me get back to what I was, talking to the people about. You have a great one. You see what I'm saying? No facts, no merits, don't even have a point of reference. Didn't quote no verses from the biblical text, but he comes up and says that he's coming up to talk about that of which is. Make it make sense. You got to make that make sense for yourself, sir. You came up as if you had, some type of, reference. This is why I say that they created this battle. They created this ideal war, right? Because Christ is depicted in their image. They don't even want to give up the physical idea of him and acknowledge that he is a energy in this world, right? That he is a consciousness. They don't even want to deny that he's an energy that can come into the vessels of mankind, right? They will accept the fact that the devil made you do it, but they won't accept the fact that Christ can come in through that way too. They'll accept the fact that the devil can take over your body, but they won't accept the fact that people can move with Christ's energy. And every time you explain to them that Christ is an energy or a consciousness, they want to deny it, but they'll accept a physical ideal form because that physical ideal form favors them. Do you get what I'm saying? And they'll argue this tooth and nail, but the same thing that they arguing is the same thing that they're doing, right? They're closed off from understanding because they refuse to want to believe something outside the perspective that was given to them. It's very delusional. It's delusional. It literally is delusional to sit there and have a perception that you yourself don't understand. That is the craziest thing, that their perception of this world is not in a level of understanding. Make it make sense. Come on now. I can't even fathom that one. I can't even, they go around and they push this concept and they want to say it, but let's go back to the history of Jesus Christ, right? You go back to the history don't favor, right? You go back, Jesus Christ was actually the name of one of the first slave ships. Why they don't speak about that? You know what I mean? Like, they really don't want to go back into the story or the history of some of the stuff that they're speaking about. They really don't want to go back into, that KKK Christian era. They don't never want to go back into the history of what they destroyed to bring in their level of hatred under Christianity. Christianity is not a religion that practices what they're bringing in. That means they're making it something negative. They're making it a army. They're not making it a peaceful religion. They're not making it a religion that sits down at the table. Look at the stories in the biblical text, right? It said that other people can be adopted into this covenant. That's what it says. Other people can be adopted into this covenant. That's how some of them got into the covenant. They're the Gentiles. They were adopted into a covenant. As long as they accepted the ways of the Israelite, they too can be an Israelite. And then after they got adopted in, they started trying to push out the real ones. Make that shit make sense. How the fuck we adopt y'all into our covenant and then y'all try to take over the shit? You can't tell me the history of something that you was adopted into. That's what makes this shit so hard. That's what makes this shit so complicated. A lot of y'all was adopted into this spirituality. This shit ain't yours. You better realize what's taking place with the sun and who it is actually affecting. It is affecting more copper-colored people than anything right now. These solar flares are affecting our fucking way of thinking. It's affecting us in ways we can't even explain. And y'all sitting there playing with the shit. There's something really taking place inside of us. Y'all ain't teach us about melanin. Y'all ain't teach us about what the hell takes place with the sun. Y'all hid that shit from us. And now that we coming into a grander understanding of it, y'all still want to keep on playing this little fucking mental game of fuckery. It's over with. The time for games is over with. You gonna learn. You gonna learn the ways of this world. You got no choice. The universe deems it. Sit your ass down. Get some of this learning. You could keep on trying to play in our face, but the universe gonna keep on giving you karma. And when things start getting worse and things start fucking up for you, don't say nothing. Because the universe is giving you a chance to learn from those who they giving the knowledge to. And you still being ignorant. You still acting foolish. The universe didn't give me this knowledge so I can just have it to myself. The universe didn't just give me the ability to articulate this shit.
You like to talk a lot of smack. You spy and lie, you boast, always gotta do the most behind my back. When you're faced with all the facts, you switch right up, you don't remember all of that. Showing off like you're in a pageant, bragging on about your status. Little do they know there's a real dark method to your madness. All the hate you brew inside, tragic. From a monster to the victim, play the role so well, dramatic. Is that it? Moving on, now it's time for me to work, wave my magic wand. You're no match for me or the power of my tongue. Let me show you how it's done. I can too terrorize you for fun. Demon be gone. You're a narcissist, can't hide it when it shows. Tied down by your traumas and now they won't let you go. You're a narcissist, a reaction is your aim. I'll just give you nothing, watch you lose at your own game. You're a narcissist, it's always your way, it's your lane. Doesn't matter what I try to say, decline. You want what's mine, try to bring me down, try to take me out, but you can't steal my shine. You always want to start a fight. No rules, never can you lose, no clue to why you always gotta be right. Tell me why you're so uptight, if it's all for show. Gotta let shit flow, gotta let shit go. Can't dwell on it your whole life. Get back, I don't want your static. Nothing but a drama addict. repeated cycles. I have studied all your habits, but the way you stare at me, you savage. Try to pawn your pain on me, return to sender with that package and trash it. Moving on, now it's time for me to work. Wave my magic wand, no more dragging me through the dirt. Teach you right from wrong, run you like a marathon. Once that truth turns to karma, you're done. Demon, be gone. You're a narcissist, can't hide it when it shows. Tied down by your traumas and now they won't let you go. You're a narcissist, a reaction is your aim. I'll just give it nothing, watch you lose at your own game. You're a narcissist, it's always your way, it's your lane. Doesn't matter what I try to say, divine, you want what's mine. Try to bring me down, try to take me out, but you can't steal my shine. Try to take my soul, try to switch them roles. That destiny swapping, mocking, blocking shit. It's a no-go, all that ego doesn't fit. Only care for the glam, only care for the glitz. Way too grubby, but you wanna give gifts. Indian giver on a power trip, acting like you rich. All the money in the world wouldn't change your attitude. Love bomb if you want, won't change my point of view on you as you laugh and you flaunt. Take your exit too. You're no match for the highest with authority over you. True. Now back to the money. Say you built the hive, forcing me the honey. Don't wanna be exposed, so you're acting all chummy. No one is around, now you wanna act funny. Bummy, pick a personality, many burn bridges. Friendship fatality, you see it one way. I see duality like calories, burn away them dark principalities. You're a narcissist, can't hide it when it shows. Tied down by your traumas and now they won't let you go. You're a narcissist, a reaction is your aim. I'll just give you nothing, what you lose at your own game. You're a narcissist.
That's all we are down here. That's it. You know, that's all we're required to do. You know, as a watchtower, the book of Ezekiel explains it to you best. You know, as a watchtower, we are to observe and warn people of, you know, the cautionary measures of this reality. If they don't take heed to the cautionary measures, you know, that's not on us, that's on them. If I explain to you about the 72 demons of the soul of man and you still allow yourself to fall victim to one of those demons, then that's on you. All my job is to explain to you the forces unseen and the forces unknown. That's all my job is. You know, you take it in how you take it in. You receive the knowledge how you receive the knowledge, and you know what I mean. That's it. I just have to explain to you what this verse, as long the universe tells me that it's going to take care of me, as long as I continue to explain to people what this verse consists of. The universe is like, don't worry about a thing. I got you. Just continue to explain to people what this verse consists of. And that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to continue to explain to people what this verse consists of. And I hope you guys support. I hope you guys, you know, hit the CA, hit the PA, hit the, you know what I mean? However you can, drop a gift, you know, drop a universe on me. You know what I mean? Go over to TikTok and drop a uni, you know, something. I don't know, but I'm going to keep bringing it to you. I got no choice because the universe keeps giving me better ways to articulate it. I might tell you the same story 7 different ways because I'm supposed to reach 7 different groups of people, 7 different groups of understanding, 7 different groups of learners. You know, everybody's not learning the same way down here. There's a learning curve for all of this. I'm trying to find that learning curve that connects everybody to it. I want to put everybody at the same table. Well, at least all those that want to be there, you know, because everybody don't want to be at the table. Some people come to the table to see what they can fuck up. You know, just like at family events, you always got that one cousin that's starting shit. You know, they exist in this world. That one cousin that's starting shit exists in this world, okay? So everybody always got that one cousin that's talking shit, starting shit, on some bullshit. You know, so we all got that. You know, it's not to say nothing. They exist too. Yeah, eat up your leftovers and shit. You know. But yeah, looking forward to see what the Atlas family does with the studio page, Atlas Family Studios. We're gonna put like little cartoon clips over there, whatever you guys produce, put it in the Discord. We're gonna post it on that page. Um, we might go live from that page occasionally, but I just want to put the shorts and the videos. The page is cleared off completely. If you do have a video, let me know what you want the title to be. If you want, hashtags or ats in the description, let me know. You know what I mean? Just basically in the Discord, post the video in the Discord, and then put in the title and what you want the description to entail, and then I'll get that video posted, that clip, short video, whatever it is that you posted. That page is dedicated to the Atlas family and everything that we did, put in, for the sister wives, all the struggles, all the arguing that we went through to keep our Discord in the positive, you know what I mean? So, shout out to the Avengers, shout out to everybody that's in this sector, that's fighting and combating, the grifting, the low vibration, shout out to them, shout out to everybody that's trying to stand in truth and light and understands, even though we are in this world, we still can do good things for each other in this world. And even though we can get petty sometimes, we still remind ourselves of the goodness. We still make sure that we venture back into giving back. You always got to do something to give back. So we cleared that page off completely. We cleared that page off completely, and that's going to us as a collective to post videos over there. We also going to get some more music videos out to go with the songs, so on and so forth, because the songs is bumping. Like all the songs is bumping. And it's look, man, listen, we done dropped 3 albums. Jaguar ain't even put out not 1 album yet. We done dropped 3. What is this? QR code. Oh, for the shirts? Mm. That's crazy. That's what's up. Okay. So we do have some new stuff in the Atlas store. If you guys want to go visit the store, some new stuff in there. We have a garden banner. So if you want, it's a garden banner. Got this for a garden banner. Very nice, very nice. You could put that in your garden, We got this t-shirt right here. This t-shirt says a lot. The Age of Aquarius t-shirt. If you do get this t-shirt, I need you to take a picture. I need to see I need to see more people getting this one right here. This one's nice right here. Also we got what is this? A poster? Mm-hmm. Yeah, we got the shut up poster. You put that on your wall. We got this is the license plate. So you could get that license plate, you know what I mean? You got this, a can holder or cup holder, whatever it is, right here. Atlas of Love cup holder. That goes with the album that just dropped today too. You got this shirt. So mad that they love me, they love me, they love me. That, hey, I know a lot of y'all about to get that one right there. So mad that they love me. And then of course you got the boxers, you know, men's boxers, mad that they love me, men's boxers, you know, for the men that's in the it ain't that many. Ain't that many of us. I might have to buy the boxes my damn self. You can go get the Guidance for Next Generation hat. You know, y'all check out the store. Even if you just, just stop by it just to look at some stuff. Just stop by the store. Stop by the store. And just look at some of the merch that's over there. All right. Just give it some traction. Give it some traction. Okay. I'll drop the link. We're not stopping. We just gonna keep on, Oh, I'm excuse me. Hey, if y'all want to get y'all some of the boxes to wear, feel free. But we not stopping. We just gonna keep on, producing more and more stuff. That's all we're gonna do is keep on producing more and more and more and more. And just when you thought we was done, more. That's what we're gonna do. Keep on bringing more and more stuff to the table. So make sure y'all, we out here, we on the farm, we trying to do better things, we trying to do bigger things. We looking at the light that people are trying to shine on us, and we looking at how people are trying to paint us out to be, of a low vibration, and it ain't us. Okay, we don't want that. It never was us. You guys can keep that low vibration. You guys can let that become you, but we're not letting it become us. And they could do all the hating that they want from like the corner somewhere, Let them hate from in the corner somewhere, you know what I mean? Yo, check the album out on Spotify. It's out on Spotify now. So the album is out on Spotify, the new one. So that's 3 albums before Jaguar dropped one. You know what I mean? That's 3 albums before Jaguar dropped one with Cruelty Free. How long she had Cruelty Free up and running? Ain't dropped not one, nothing. Keep on trying to make it seem like this stuff takes time. You got to take your time with this stuff. You got to da 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 da. You're lying. You're lying. You're lying. If you got the people working around you like you say you got working around you, if you focused on your craft like you say you focused on your craft, then it should be no problem, It should be no problem, So yeah. Everybody, send a little donation in for, max production for us just being, who we are and how great we are. Okay, so this is where you get into Planetary Grid Network Glossary, Mother Arc Hub, okay? There's a lot of energy that's coming in through the Mother Arc Hub. All right, a lot of energy coming in through the Mother Arc Hub. Session focus is Mother Arc. This is the Cosmic Mother, the 13th gate, and the Ascending Arc Hub Gateway Network. Through 13th Aqua Gate leads to the neuron window to exit from the universe and the 0 point. Now, the 0 point is considered to be Mother's Earth. It's the chakra that's up under our feet. It's the 0 point. And anchoring and supporting the Arc Gateway and the trivecca fields to merge with the biowave fields, healing distorted electron fields and recording 1212 spin points, ether element, right? So that's what's happening right now. This transfer, this Ethernet transfer, what's happening, what's taking place. Something greater is happening around us. Something greater is happening inside of us. As above, so below, as without, so within. These energies are merging right now. For those who are not in an understanding of it, get in a grander understanding of this. Knowledge and wisdom rules the air. We are in the Aquarius sky. I can keep on repeating this stuff, until I'm blue in the face. And you guys are going to have a grander understanding of this. You guys are going to have to come into a recognition of this stuff and understanding of this stuff. Someone asked about the UK, right? And you got to know, even geographic location speaks about a lot. This is a region north and west. The United Kingdom shows it's basically north of us and towards the west. The United Kingdom of Great Britain, Northern Ireland, um, and this goes back to the original King James. The original King James was one of three kings to rule three continents at the same time. Ireland was one of the continents that he also ruled at the same time. He was, this is where that joke of, Black Irish comes from. This is why they joke about the Black Irish, because there was a real King James that was of a darker complexion that ruled Ireland at one point, right? The UK, Great Britain, and the countries in Europe. Off the northwestern coast of the continent mainland is compared England, Scotland, Wales, and Northern Ireland. The United Kingdom includes islands in Great Britain. The United Kingdom includes islands in Great Britain, Ireland, and smaller islands with the Great Britain. Now, this is why you guys probably can see the Borealis better. This is where, all of that comes in. This is why you guys, because, if we get into the depths of this, you will find, Stonehenge, you will find a manipulation of crystals that are, up under the UK, allegedly, supposedly, if we was to get into the red tyrant and everything like that, then we'll get into an understanding of a lot of these crystals work and crystal grid working, right? And this goes into the Nephilim and the reversal of some of the usage of these crystals and so on and so forth. And this goes back to the Majin Grail bloodline or the Draconian, so on and so forth. So this is why, they have the stories of like the Loch Ness monster, all of this other stuff about deep, things coming from the depths of the sea, so on and so forth. See, back in the day, they had a grander understanding for a lot of this stuff, right? You had the Nazarenes, the Nazarites, they taught you something different back then. They did a lot of their books didn't get voted to get put into the whatchacombs. They didn't vote for these to get put in. But this was the time of the Essenes, the stories that was coming out of Nazareth, with the Nazarites and so on and so forth. So this was the Nazarenians or whatever. This was the Essenes. This was the one of the original groups, if you would say, during this time of the Templars, right? A lot of people ain't gonna tell you about this. They ain't gonna talk to you about this stuff. I want to talk to you. Can I talk to you? Huh? Can I talk to you?
The authentic Celtic
Oh,
Essene
hold on,
groups
hold
from
on, hold on.
Hyperborea were the progenitors of the.
It ain't gonna read it out loud because I got it. I didn't put it on read out loud. Let me reshare this screen so y'all can hear it. That's why I say the Essenes was a real group of the biblical text. John the Baptist was an Essene. Y'all better get into this knowledge.
Original Nazarene Christos teachings, preserving the knowledge of the original Diamond Sun Templar locations, male and female Christos Sophia lines, historical and angelic human genetic records for Earth while she was under dark siege. Thus, sadly, the ongoing covert genocidal agendas to eradicate these lineages that hold records of the Celtic Druid Grail bloodlines have a long history of repeated campaigns known as the Celtic massacres and Druid sacrifices. Cosmic Christos dragon teachings were brought into this lower harmonic universe timelines by 7D Hyperborean spiritual families after the Luciferian rebellion and again after the Atlantean cataclysm,
Three on a
to help
chart.
preserve the angelic human sacred
Mind,
teachings of the
body, and
Law of
spirit.
One. The
Remember
Law
the
of One holds
Trinity.
the information describing the genetic records of the 12 Essene tribes and gives details about humanity's true historical origins and biological ascension capability. The Celtic Church held this specific knowledge of achieving the embodiment of sacred hierogamic union to evolve into a cosmic Christ, which is to unite and marry the inner gender principle throughout the creation and bring the celestial music of Christos Sophia from the heavens into the earth realm. The cosmic Christos Sophia dragon teachings were first taught by the Essene tribes carrying the lineage of the original Celtic Church onto powerful ley lines around the Mediterranean basin. 5.
Now, a lot of you guys always speak of this gender. When we're talking about spirituality, when we're talking about the Bible, we're talking about a gender that is inside the vessel. We are not talking about nobody outside. We're talking about a male principle inside the body and a female principle inside the body. These are energies inside the vessel. One moves up the left side of the body, the other one moves up the right side of the body. Both intertwine at the spine and move through your nervous system in order to reach the Garden of Eden, which is in your brain, and move certain fluids and pump certain fluids through your body or through your life water, so on and so forth, right? So when it's talking about being equally yoked, you can't be equally yoked with something outside of you, right? For that person outside of you haven't been through your trials and tribulations, don't know what you experienced, don't know how much pressure you put on yourself, so on and so forth, right? The only way to actually be equally yoked is to actually be equally yoked with inside of oneself. Okay, so when you become equally yoked inside of yourself, then reality might give you someone that is also equally yoked, because once you become equally yoked with inside yourself, your reality will reflect that. A lot of people wonder why they run across people and going through the same stuff that they're going through, because that's your perception of it. That's what you're forcing out there. That's what you're putting out there. Meeting the wrong people becomes a habit after a while. A lot of people don't know how they become beggars. And you think beggars wanted to become beggars? You think that was their goal? No, they didn't know they were going to become beggars until it started becoming easy. The first time they let their pride go, the first time they lowered their, standards and begged. The next time it became easier, the next time became easier, so on and so forth. Same thing with, getting into these messed up relationships, right? It becomes easier and easier to slip into messed up relationships because it becomes the norm, and we're creatures of habit, right? So you got to be willing to break these habits. You got to be willing to say, you know what, I deserve, right? So we got to get into this. This is the gender principle, right? Opposite forces. This is talking about inside the vessel, inside the body. You have a lower physical force, and then you have a light body, right? So the physical force that is you, this will be your dark body, and then your light body will be around your dark body. So the physical form is one of the lowest forms. The material world is one of the lowest planes, because you have planes of existence, right? So therefore you have levels of density. Density changes all the time, right?
As humanity biologically evolves through the spiritual ascension process, there is the alchemical process of synthesizing the pairs of opposing forces within the auric, light body, bodies. As we come into exposure with these frequencies, they activate our spiritual progress, and we will naturally attract experiences, such as other people and circumstances that are designed to help us further spiritually develop. Most of these types of spiritually based experiences or relationships will push to the surface energetic imbalances, such as fears or unresolved pain that exist in the mental and emotional body. This is the only way we can become aware of our inner imbalances, especially gender principle imbalances. These issues must surface in our awareness so that we can recognize them in order to take responsibility for them. In making new choices, we can regain our energetic balance that is aligned to our true core essence. If we do not understand the context of our experience or relationship as a purposed evolutionary journey, we can become stuck on obsolete codependent patterns and mired in looping painful issues. The experience to surface energetic imbalances is designed by the higher spiritual intelligence and not ego preferences. This means that until the ego programs are neutralized, the person's ascension pathway will be littered with suffering through mental confusion and dark manipulation, too.
And that was the main part that I wanted to read, was the part where it says, like, until you figure it out, your spirit is going to keep on giving you this, battle, right? Your spirit intelligence is giving you these egotistical fights that we keep on fighting, right? Whether it's presented to you by another person or whatever, your spirit is giving you this physical expression of life. We are all going through a spiritual expression of life through this physical reality. This is why we say, we're multi-dimensional beings sharing this reality. We're sharing a reality that we are all perceiving, in a sense, right? So when you're looking at this, you got three chakras. Your first triad, this is the first three chakras. This is your physical. Project 3D consciousness, reality, hologram, individual separation, right? Layer 1, unconsciousness, hard drive. Consciousness enters physical matter, right? So this is where you have to first accept that it is something inside of you that's greater than this world. A lot of people don't accept that there's something inside of you, inside of them, that's greater than this world. A lot of those Christians out there, they don't accept that something inside of them that's greater than that is out in this world, right? Otherwise, they wouldn't hold on to what's in this world so tough. A lot of them hold on to materialistic things. They hold on to this world, right? The ideal image, right? They're so afraid. They're scared to let go the title Christianity. Do you get what I'm saying? Christ energy, it existed way before these words that we created existed, right? But they're scared to let go the title. You have to have that title in order for them to see you in the light. In order for them to even take heed from you, you have to have that title. In order for them to even listen to you, you have to have that title. In order for them to even stop and have a moment with you, you have to have that title. Think about that. A title. They allow a title to separate them from people. Think of how easy that is. The Bible says that we're supposed to do everything in our power to be at peace with one another, and they're letting a simple title separate us. How can they say they're doing everything to be at peace if something as frivolous as a title can separate us as a collective? How can you say you love him who you never seen, yet hate your brother who you see every day because of a title? It's not making sense. Okay, that's why I say everything is aimed to keep us in confusion, keep us in this battlement. All these titles, the spell that's in the word, it's aimed to keep us in this mishap, right? This is why I don't tell people what title I hold when they ask me what I believe. What's your religion? What do you believe? Irrelevant. Irrelevant. I love you no matter what. I love you the same. Hey, you act like if I said that I was Christian, that's going to take away the amount of love that I should have. That determines or dictate what I'm coming with, right? If I'm coming with love, it don't matter what title I got. It don't matter what religion I'm coming with love. I'm coming with respect. I'm coming with what does the rest of that stuff matter if you coming with love and unity? You gonna argue with me down about a title, but I'm coming with love. I'm coming with unity. I'm coming with peace. I'm coming with understanding. I got to keep on fighting all of these different energies, all of these different personas out here. And all we keep on doing is trying to operate with love. Think about how hard we fighting for love. Look how easy they got lust, greed, gluttony, all that other stuff. But look how hard they making us fight for love. Think about that. I want you guys to really think about that. We have the greatest level of compassion. We show the greatest level of understanding. We forgave those who we knew was plotting against us. You know? So how you explain to me. Explain to me. But I we digress. So layers of consciousness, programming, birth, soul, influencers, first triad process, elemental forces of physical matter only. That's where you just, you got to see it to believe it, whatever the case may be. First triad, artifact and artificial intelligence known as the ego. So ego was placed in this world as the first form of artificial intelligence, right? So when ego was placed in this world and everybody started, feeding the ego, we created this, anything you could do, I can do better, or these levels of, gladiator school, as I call it, a gladiator school. You know what I mean? That's what really it is. It's one big gladiator school. Where most of humanity group soul has remained in the last 26,000. Now we're coming into the age of we're coming into the age of ascension, right? And Christ, in the time of, Pisces, he explained to them what this age of ascension was going to be, what it was going to consist of, right? And he explained to them what they can expect, right? And whatever took place, whatever happened, whether it was the opposite, whether it was a fight, whatever took place, that's what happened. You know what I mean? And this goes back to this is older than the Bible. This is going back to the Zoanthropon, angelic heritage, right? So there was a group before the biblical days, and they considered to be Zoroastrian. Zoroastrian. All right, Zoroastrian. Wait now, wait. I just wanted you to pronounce the word for me. Zoroastrian, right there. That's the word, Zoroastrian. So if you look up that word Zoroastrian, you'll see that it was a group that was here, during these days of the Christian Crusade, whatever you want to call it. And it goes all the way back, these people, believe that hold on, let me see if I can find okay, here we go. Here's the calendar. Wait. No, not that. No. Whoa. Okay. Let's go back to this. Click on that. So when you're digging back into history, you dig back into ancient Sumeria right here. So this is what you dig back into when you're digging into like the portals of religion. This is where your highways, your Hoshawas, Yahweh, all that stuff comes in, right? So when it goes into the mythologies of things, right, the words, good purpose, truth, righteousness, creative, spiritual, mental, right, wholeness, immortality. These are some of the words that are played upon when you're talking about this old religion. And this religion goes back further than Christianity and some of the religions that we know today. Geometric associated and later Persian texts. It was some of this. This is the Yahweh of the body. So it tells you humanity's guardian of all the cattle, of all animals, of fire, and all the other luminants, the metals and minerals of earth, of water, of plants. This is alchemy. You know, they practice a level of alchemy that gave them a level of respect for all of the elements, all of the, you know, different variations of things on this planet. They had a certain level of respect. We seem to have lost that level of respect that we once had for this plane of existence. Maybe these things became, you know, too boring or something to us. Maybe you got bored with the glory of this world. Maybe you got bored with, you know, the things of this world. I don't know what it is, you know. I don't know what it is that we got bored with, but we did this. We did this to ourselves. We stopped putting this knowledge out there. We stopped, you know, allowing ourselves to have a level of intellect that was greater than this world. You know, we did that. You know, and that's where the SNs come in, right? The group of SNs, they were divine entities. They knew, you know, they were divine entities.
Significantly more common than the nonspecific meaning of Aim Shah Spenta, see below, is a restrictive use of the term to refer to the great seven divine entities emanating from Ahura Mazda. 1. In Zoroastrian tradition, these are the first seven emanations of the uncreated creator, through whom all subsequent creation was accomplished. This fundamental doctrine is only alluded to in the Avesta, but is systematically described in later Middle Persian language texts, in particular in the Bundahishan, 2, an 11th or 12th century work that recounts Zoroastrian cosmology. The expression Aim Shah Spenta does not occur in the Gathas, but it was probably coined by Zoroaster himself. Spenta is a characteristic word of his revelation, meaning furthering, strengthening, bounteous, holy. 1a. The oldest attested, 3, use of the term is in part of the Yasna Haptang Haitai, 4, and in which the two elements of the name occur in reverse order, that is, as Spenta Aim Shah. Like all other verses of the Yasna Haptang Haitai, Yasna 39.3 is also in Gathic Avestan and is approximately as old as the hymns attributed to Zoroaster himself.
So, you know, the crazy thing is, like, I can understand all of this. I can understand all of this stuff. And literally, like, the only thing that messes me up is the pronunciation of these damn words. The pronunciation of this stuff, man, I be fumbling with the pronunciation of this stuff. I promise you I'll be fumbling with the pronunciation of this stuff. But we got to go back to right here. So when you get into this stuff, we have to go back into the greats, the kings of the past, right? So we got to go back into West Asia. We got to go back into the kings of the past, right? At one time, these personas was pushing out different variations of knowledge, wisdom, and understanding, right? When it goes into the mystery of Babylon and the Canaanites, right? It goes into the Babylonian Empire, Napier. Napier is a Sumerian what you call 'em? When it talks about Napier and stuff like that, this goes back to Samaria. So if the biblical text and everything else goes back to the great flood, the great fall, the great flood goes back to Mystery Babylon. Mystery Babylon goes back to the land of Canaan. The land of Canaan goes back to Sumeria. Sumeria goes back to Napier. Napier is one of the towns that Abraham. Who was that? Abraham. Name was Abram. Okay, so yeah, it goes back to Sumerian text and the Ankian and Lil, and literally the book of Genesis tells you that Abraham comes from one of these old places, and his father told him to go. This goes back to Enoch. This goes back to the emerald tablets. I mean, I could keep going if you guys want. I just want you to know the connection of a lot of things. This goes back to Nubaru, right? You gotta dig back into the history of this stuff. You know, I like digging back into the history of this world. You know, so y'all make sure y'all hit the CA up. Hit the CA up. Throw some $5. Throw $5 at your boy for knowledge and wisdom. Throw $5 at me for knowledge and wisdom, because that's what we doing here. Hit me with your best 5. Yeah, there you got 5 on it. I got 5 on knowledge and wisdom. You got 5 on knowledge and wisdom. I got 5 on it. You know what I mean? Y'all make sure y'all support knowledge, wisdom, understanding. So this goes back to the temples of Enlil. You guys don't know about this stuff, okay? The temples of Enlil.
The temple of Enlil, situated northeast of the ziggurat, was excavated. Topography of the temple of Enlil was yielded. By stratigraphic excavation, the chronological sequence of the temple could be constructed. The temple dated to UR3 period was constructed by Urnammu, restored and rebuilt by kings ruled Nippur for centuries. 29. As the temple of Enlil was rebuilt after UR3, the architectural information provided was based on remains from the UR3 period. The rectangular temple measured about 45 by 21 m with one entrance on the northeast wall and one entrance on the southwest wall. Floors were paved with baked brick, square bricks with size of 37 centimeters, 2 substructures built beneath the paved floor with 1.3 m elevation. 29. Walls that the thickness varied from 3.35 to 3.95 m were constructed with straw-tempered unbaked bricks and mud mortar. 29. There was no indication for windows. Walls above floor level were not preserved, but windows were required for additional lighting in the temple of Enlil. 29. The possible height of the walls was 13.2 m, as it was 3 times of the substructure, which is 4.40 m. Although no remains of the roof left, purlins and reeds were covered first and then rammed earth mixed with straw was layered. 29. From the floor plan of the temple of Enlil in UR3 period, 2 celi each connected with 2 minor chambers with wider doorways, 2.40 m, 1.45 m for normal doorway, and 2 subsidiary chambers were presented. 29. The burning evidence in the cella, room 13, and the minor chambers, room 16, 17, adjacent to the other cella, room 18. The inscription of the temple of Enlil around UR3 period, both indicated the purpose of the temple of Enlil was to feed gods on the adjacent ziggurat, as kitchen. Temple, so food preparation could be taken place. Other than that, the temple of Enlil shown no place of a dais for enthroned deity.
Now, okay, with all of this and the understanding that's been given so far, they have determined that Zacharias Stitchins was a little bit off with a lot of this stuff, right? That maybe he wasn't as accurate as he was, saying, whatever the case may be. And this is why I say you got to dig back into this, because this is where a lot of this stuff goes back to what was considered to be the gold of the body, the gold of the vessel, what was the real land of Egypt, so on and so forth, where, Canaanites, that's why even according to the biblical text, Babylon was still a mystery all the way up until today's time. Babylon is still a mystery. Babylon, it's still a mystery for a reason. It's because it doesn't exist on this plane, right? Babylon is inside the body. We are a creation of mystery Babylon because we operate on Babylonian money, which is currency, magic, right? So mystery Babylon is us. Like all of that, we didn't land on Plymouth Rock. Plymouth Rock landed on this. This is today's age for you to realize that Babylon is the body. There's a fight going on inside of you, right? Now, according to the history of this world, because duality, as above, so below, as without, so within. So according to the as without part, you can say Babylon old empire existed between 1894 BC and 1595 BC, right? But the world was here before that. The world existed before that, you know. Um, but this goes back to the third dynasty, you know. This goes back to the third dynasty. This goes back to the history of, you know. And this is why I always say, like, hey, you going this is the page you want to support, you know. This is the I am the person that you want to support. Okay. I'm gonna bring it to you raw, uncut. You know what I'm saying? I'm the person that you listen. I got you. I got you. Okay. So you have to remember what it was that they were searching for. They were searching for, you know, the mystery. They were searching the third dynasty. The third dynasty was searching for the mystery that was lost within the first dynasty, right? This is going back to, you know, Marduk, right? And Marduk was wrote about when it came down to the planet Anubaru. And since they say that the planet Anubaru is visible in our sky, this is a great time to learn about the planet Anubaru and everything that comes with it. You know, Jupiter, right? When I tell you guys these planets have planetary energies and so on and so forth, this is what they're leading. This is what they're leaving out, right? All of these things, all of these planets, all of these names, all of these physical personas, they have planetary deities. So as I exist in my body as a collective, my energy exists with inside the universe, and that energy also exists with inside a planet, also comes from a constellation, also has a origin point, right? All of our energies inside of our body has an origin point, right? So when you study the history of this world and you comb back through mankind, you will find the origin point of creation, right? Consciousness, right? And that's connected to all of us, right? But you have to comb through all of these different layers of division. And as 607 Unc would say, I swear to God on my mama. I swear to God on my mama. This world is way crazier than what you think. I swear to God on my mama. But he's running around and he's presenting you these. This is why I say I would love to sit down with somebody of his mental, right? I definitely wouldn't do a physical interview due to the fact that, you know, the internet plays dirty games. But and plus he say he be taking asses and asses are being taken, and I don't want my assets. I don't know what type of weird shit they on, but a conversation with someone that has that level of intellect when it comes to these verses, yes, he probably split his brain up in multiple, whatever, drugs he might have been fused on, used, or whatever the case may be, DNT, ayahuasca, whatever it is, you know what I mean? But he be saying some real stuff. He just makes it look like he's saying it crazy, so that way, nothing to happen to him. It's better to play crazy than to actually, speak about some of this stuff. Might be one of the that one. So that was the only place. So this is going into Babylonian cosmology, right? The history of Babylon. And this is the reason why this is so important. And you might not think this is important, but here's why this is important, because this is talking about the ocean. not the ocean that you see outside of you, but an ocean that is inside of you. And all of this stuff, Babylonian, Sumerian, Jewish cosmology, all of this stuff, the Hittites, all of this stuff came from this particular origin point of, creation myth, right? That's why I say you got to dig back into this, right? Dig back into the cosmos, the creation of this universe. It's very deep. I gotta reach out to some people. See, now a creation myth would be no other story than what Adam and Eve story is, right? It is a creation myth, right? So when you're talking about like Greek mythology, Rome mythology, they all had their own creation myth. So before there was the biblical text with its creation myth, right? There was creation myths before that, right? So the biblical history only mimics a history that was already, right? That's why I say the history of religion is so deep that you actually have to comb through the history of man. You have to comb through the history of mankind, you know what I mean? In order to find the history of religion. It's deep, it's got depth. 12 zodiacs, 12 disciples, 12 houses, 12 everything, 12 all the stuff. Okay, 12 all the stuff. No, I gotta reach. I don't know them, but I don't mind sitting down having an intellectual conversation with anybody. You know what I mean? I love having intellectual conversations. Uh, um, always good for that. Always good. Always down for that. Um, I'm trying to get to 150. I need to get to. Oh, DistroKid. Promote your song. Oh. Make your link tree pop. Promote your song of the summer. Oh. Okay, so I could put the songs on the link tree. I might have to do that. I might have to put the songs on the link tree so that way the link tree could jump off. Make your link tree pop. Uh, uh, songs of the summer. Promote your songs. Hold on. So I can put my songs on the songs of the summer list. Our songs can be on the songs of the summer list for all right, I gotta go to this later and figure it out. Yeah. We got some great things happening around us. We definitely got some great things happening around us. I promise you we do. We need to sit down at a table, for knowledge. You know what I mean? That's why I say we got to get out of that algorithm that they had us in. The history of religion is written and recorded in humanity. All right, let's read this right here. And see, once you get
The
past
history of religion
religion,
is the written record of human religious feelings, thoughts, and ideas. This period of religious history begins with the invention of writing about 5,200 years ago, 3,200 BCE. 1. The prehistory of religion involves the study of religious beliefs that existed prior to the advent of written records. One can also study comparative religious chronology through a timeline of religion, or the interrelationships and historical diversification of religious ideologies through the use of evolutionary philosophy and broad comparativism. 2. Writing played a major role in standardizing religious texts regardless of time or location and making easier the memorization of prayers and divine rules. 3.
hit that
The
PayPal for
concept of
knowledge.
religion was formed in the
Make
16th
sure that
and
Ralph
17th
DaWise
centuries.
PayPal is
4.
working. Hit that
5.
PayPal for
Sacred
knowledge.
texts like the Bible, the Quran, and others did not have a word or even a concept of religion in the original languages, and neither did the people or the cultures in which these sacred texts were written. 6. 7. The word religion as used in the 21st century does not have an obvious pre-colonial translation into non-European languages. The anthropologist Daniel Dubuisson writes that, what the West and the history of religions in its wake have objectified under the name religion is something quite unique, which could be appropriate only to itself and its own history. 8.
See, before that, there was no name for some of this stuff. Spirituality, so on and so forth. There wasn't no name. Yeah, a lot of these sectors do tribute to hate. Even though like YouTube sends me stuff that says like, if your page, promote more positivity on your page, like I think that's so, I'm not even gonna say it. All is well. Just all is well. How we will build around it. You guys still can show support, and we'll put back in for monetization when the time is up. We're not done yet. We're still, putting it in. I'm a compose a proper letter and send it to them, with a video explaining to them, whatever. Basically, I guess I didn't give them a strong enough video of what we do on the page or whatever. So, but it's okay. We'll give it some time. Put some very knowledgeable videos out there. Continue to operate with wisdom and knowledge and love, and then we'll just go back at it again. Uh, I mean, it would have been nice to start receiving some type of payment from them. You know what I mean? All the time that we put in last month and all the money, that people sent, through, the memberships and so on and so forth. But we can't cry over spilled milk. It is what it is. I still greatly appreciate your guys' attention. I still greatly appreciate, everything that, just everything, you know what I mean? Uh, yeah, we got CA, we got PP, you know. We got PP, we got CA, we still got other means that we can, support, and we got TikTok. You can become a member over there on TikTok. You can become a member in the Discord. We got other means. We got the clothing store. Um, so it's not like, and we got the crystal shop. Let's not forget the crystals. So we still doing things. We still doing things. We just got to be grateful for what we have, and whatever is not ours ain't gonna be ours, and whatever is ours already belong to us. You know what I mean? So great things is happening. We just gotta, you know, um,
The school of religious history called the Religionsgeschichtliche Schule
That's what I'm saying. It's the reasons why I could if I lost it on my own accord or something that we did, then it wouldn't, but due to the fact that we lost it because someone else wants to play a heinous game, like that's the messed up part. You know what I mean?
Schule, a late 19th century German school of thought, originated the systematic study of religion as a sociocultural phenomenon. It depicted religion as evolving with human culture, from polytheism to monotheism. The Religionsgeschichtliche Schule emerged at a time when scholarly study of the Bible and of church history flourished in Germany and elsewhere. See higher criticism, also called the historical critical method. The study of religion is important. Religion and similar concepts have often shaped civilization's law and moral codes, social structure, art and music. In order to better understand the origin and current diversity of religious belief systems throughout the world, recent studies have attempted to focus on historical interrelationships and diversification of all major organized religions, applying modern evolutionary philosophy to the comparative analysis of putative ideological groups. 9. These studies take an agnostic, pluralistic approach in the hope of moving beyond chauvinistic cultural tribalism, which is increasingly interfering with our ability to understand other cultures and address growing global challenges.
So, there's a lot of things that's happening right now. If you look at the religious timeline, 2000 BC, practicing prehistory when it all came about, earliest known human burial in the Middle East, 10,000 BC. Uh, this is going back to like bear worship is the religious practice for worshiping of bears, you know, and this goes back to show you that at one point people worship many things. There was a bear goddess. This goes back to that Viking story that they showed you with the girl and her mother becoming a bear, so on and so forth. This goes back to um and remember, this is bear worshiping, but now you have Baal worshiping, right? This goes back to the Draconians, uh Thaddeus, like, this was the brute days, the however you want to look at it, you know, um ancient Greek. So this goes back to like different variations of ancient Greek. That's why I study these things. That's why I look this stuff up, because when you go back to the dark ages, right? Excuse me. Technically, we wasn't out of the dark ages. So once they, confused dates and times, we had the early Iron Age, Bronze Age, so on and so forth. Then we got to, this Dark Age. We were in the Dark Age for a while. And, a lot of people don't realize what the Dark Age consists of, or when we came out of the Dark Age. Or, the end of Pisces was like the end of the Dark Ages, pretty much, and now we're in like a reset of what is, always was, and always will be. So now we have to come into a grander understanding of all of this stuff, you know? I think that's what scares people. It's like people are afraid to learn again. People are, so caught up with the way life is that they are afraid to learn again. They're like, nah, I ain't about to. That big old book, I ain't about to read that. Hell no, I ain't about to read that over again. Not me. I ain't about to read that shit. All them books, nah, I'm good. I ain't about to read that. No, no, no. Right? That's how people are. But once you realize a lot of this stuff has been manipulated and dates and times was changed and so on and so forth, you'll start to have a grander understanding for all of this. You'll start to realize, oh, okay, all right, I see. And then you'll you'll present it differently, I guess, or approach it differently, however you want to look at it. I know, like, I came into a level of knowledge, and I've been gratefully appreciative for that knowledge. This is who you want to get into. You want to get into some of these Egyptian characteristic personas, deities, so on and so forth. Um, this person wrote a lot of stuff. Akhenaten. You guys might not know the story or the history of Akhenaten, but he holds a important, part of history when it comes to that religion.
Akhenaten was all but lost to history until the late 19th century discovery of Amarna, or Akhenaten, the new capital city he built for the worship of Aten. 21. Furthermore, in 1907, a mummy that could be Akhenaten's was unearthed from the tomb KV55 in the Valley of the Kings by Edward R. Ayrton. Genetic testing has determined that the man buried in KV55 was Tutankhamun's father. 22. But its identification as Akhenaten has since been questioned. 7, 8, 23, 24, 25. Akhenaten's rediscovery and Flinders Petrie's early excavations at Amarna sparked great public interest in the pharaoh and his queen Nefertiti. He has been described as enigmatic, mysterious, revolutionary, the greatest idealist of the world, and the first individual in history, but also as a heretic, fanatic, possibly insane, and mad. 15, 26, 27, 28, 29. Public and scholarly fascination with Akhenaten comes from his connection with Tutankhamun. The unique style and
Now, that's why I say, like, when you dig into the history of Akhenaten, the third or the first, or this is like when you go back into understanding a lot of this stuff. So this is Akhenaten and Nefertiti. This is a picture of that, of which is right, breathing life into the world, mankind, however you want to look at it. So there is different levels to this story, if you would say. And Egypt brought us a lot of this stuff, a lot of these different stories, when it came to Akhenaten. And this is Nefertiti. So when you're going back into this, you have to comb back through a lot of this stuff. A lot of this stuff. A lot. All right. So let's just go over the names and titles.
Nefertiti had many titles, including Nefertiti, 8, beautiful is the beauty of Aten, NFR NFRWJTN. Hereditary Princess, Irat PT. Great of Praises, WRTHZWT. Lady of Grace, Nebitimat, NBTJMT. Sweet of Love, Benerit Merit, BNRTMRWT. Lady of the Two Lands, Nebitoi, NBTTWJ. Main King's Wife, His Beloved, Hemetnesetaat Meritef, MTNSWTTMRT.F. Great King's Wife, His Beloved, Hemetnesetorit Meritef, MTNSWTWRTMRT.F. Lady of All Women, Henet Hemet Nebit, NWTMWTNBWT. Mistress of Upper and Lower Egypt, Henet Shemo Mehu, NWTMWMW. 9. While modern Egyptological pronunciation renders her name as Nefertiti, her name was the sentence NFR.TJJ.TJ, or NFR.TJY.TJ, 10, meaning, the beautiful one has come, and probably contemporarily pronounced Naftita from older Nafratita or perhaps Nefertiti. 11, 12.
Also Nefertiti. What? And at some point, you know, people stole like certain levels of knowledge and be created like bloodlines and so on and so forth. But I'm not here to argue what they created. Different people that created these false bloodlines. You can't really do nothing about what it is they created. Let me see, where's it talks about the name change? Name change. Amongst the last documents was as Imhotep are two copies of later to the pharaohs. So this is where that the effects of Aten. Aten was the name of the sun back then. So this is where they was explaining the effects of Aten in ancient Egypt, right? So in ancient Egypt, they was explaining the effects of Aten and how it, brought life to everyone and how the light affected the world and so on and so forth. So they was explaining all of this back then. Now we don't have a notion of it. If you look up Aten, it tells you, regardless of the celebration's aim, Egyptology believed that during the festivals, Imhotep only made offerings to Aten rather than the many gods and goddesses as was customary. So like this is going back and it tells you that they had a multi-god system back then. But certain people only gave, praise to the sun. This is when Amen, Amen Ra, all of these other things started taking on attributes of the sun or attributes of Aten. So they started taking on the attributes of Aten, which is considered to be the sun. And later on, Ra took the attribute of Aten. And this is like all the false, not this what you're reading, but the history of this is some of it, a lot of it is here. Yeah. History of this world, people, the history of this world. And like I say, we got so much more to talk about. We got so much more to bring to the table when it comes to this knowledge. So hope you support, hope you like the knowledge that we brought to the table. Appreciate it. Appreciate it. You say love the crystals. Appreciate it. Appreciate it. I got a crystal bag around here somewhere with a bunch of crystals in it. Oh yeah, so appreciate everybody that did hit the CA. If you're thinking about donating and you haven't yet and you're thinking about it, I appreciate you thinking about it. If it's something that you're going to do later on, I appreciate you thinking about doing it later on. I appreciate you no matter what. I appreciate you giving your time. I appreciate the replay gang. Appreciate everybody that's put in the time and effort in the Discord. I got to get something to eat real quick. I'm going to, take an hour break or something like that. And, 2 hours, 3 hours, something like that. Might play the game until Golden's live because Golden's going to do a live today at 8. So we're all going to, we're going to have a field trip over there to Golden's panel to see what it is that they're talking about, so on and so forth. Might try to play the game for a little bit. hoping to get a little more donations, hoping to get, something. If not, love is love. Appreciate you for being here. Appreciate you watching the video. Appreciate you replaying it. And all the support that we get. So appreciate you. Appreciate you for liking it. If you shared it, appreciate that too. Whatever it is that you do, I appreciate just by you being here. I appreciate it. Love is love. And if nobody told you that they love you today, let me be the first, not the last, to say that I love you. She sent me an email. She said she got one starting today at 8, I think, or at 8:30. I don't know if it's posted yet. She said she's doing an interview with somebody. So I don't know. Maybe we're intrigued by this. Maybe it's somebody that we, might have painted a wrong picture about, and they want to give a chance to, clear things up, start at a clean slate. I don't know. Surprise guess, I guess. Maybe we'll be surprised by it. You know, we might just walk in and turn right back around. You know how that go too. So you walk in, you know what I mean? You realize like this ain't somebody you fuck with, and you turn right back around. So we might walk. It might be a walk in and turn back around type ordeal. You know what I mean? We'll see how it go. You know what I mean? See how it go. If it's one of those things that's trauma bonding, I'm out. I don't do the trauma bonding. If it's one of those, repeated energies or trying to repeat some level of, fuckery that we already moved past, then we out. We out. You know what I mean? We out. We ain't doing it. So yeah, so ancient Egypt religion goes all the way back to Ra. So when you talk about this different stuff, this stuff was here before some of these storylines that's out now. So when you go back, these are the levels of knowledge that you're going to find yourself, seeping back to. And as you can see right here, Upper Egypt, Lower Egypt, with the Red Sea right here. Yeah, I just caught that fly out the air. I did that. And so what? Yes, I'm a fly catcher. Yes. Shouldn't have been flying around me. I'm sorry. It was bugging me. It was bugging me. You seen it. You seen it. You seen it bugging me. You seen it. I tried to let it go, be at peace, but it kept bugging me. Huh? I had to snatch it up out the sky, Now, normally I could catch him and I'll let him out the door. But that one got caught in between my fingers, so it didn't make the trip. Okay? Normally I can catch him. And then I'll take him outside and let him go. Hell no, you on your own. See, a fly is actually trying to get away. Them damn cicadas will look at you and dare you to bust a move. Nah, you keep those cicadas. You keep those. So ironically, if you look at this map, you will see that this is not a map of no map on this earth. This is not a map of no map on this earth. I want you to look at this, and you can see that this is the body right here. The land of Cush, Upper Egypt being your chest area. Well, you got to look at it the other way. It's upside down. You see how it's reversed? Look at it. This is how Egypt really was. Look, Lower Egypt is in the higher half. Upper Egypt, and then the land of Cush, right? It's reversed. Look, Lower Egypt is up here, right? Upper Egypt is down here, right? And then the land of Cush. You see that? But if you look at this and you see how it is at the top, if you go into some of these other maps that I show you of the body, it is depicted just like this piece of land. I'll show you. If you go into some of the other maps, it is depicted just like this. You see? You see it has the gods on there, and then at the top it has the different ways, the different waters leading into the Mediterranean. You see? It's the same. It's the same. You see this? And then you see this? This is the mystery right here. This is the mystery. Right? Everything is, always was, it's always been connected. Hold on, let me back it up. Let me back it up. Right there. See how it is? See? See this picture? And you see this picture? And you see this picture right here, right? You see these three pictures? You see how it has the flower at the top? It's showing that same, like, say this is the Mediterranean at the top of this. It's all shown in the same picture. See? At the top. You see at the top? See at the top? See? Split. One side of land, the other side of land. One side of Kush, the other side of Kush. One was considered the eastern desert, western desert, right? The east and the west. The body is just like that. The east and the west. The east of the body, the west of the body, right? Upper Egypt, lower Egypt, right? This is what they were telling you. This is what they was giving you the story of. This is what the repeating thing of it was. This is the repeating factor of it, right? This is the repeating factor. It just repeats over and over, right? When they created the unaliving process, they depicted everything like a tomb. So they gave you this same thing, but the Sumerians depicted it like this. See? So they gave it to you like this, with the gods at the top. Same thing as the body. All of it is the same thing. A map of the body, a map of the body, map of the body. 72 demons of the soul of man, as above, so below, as without, so within. It's just a repeat. Everything repeats. History just repeats itself. Okay? So we're going to take a brief break, and then we're going to come back with more and more, and we're going to keep on coming back until y'all get tired of us, because we got enough content to keep on coming back. You guys got to keep on, creating controversy and mess and bickering and bullcrap, you know? So y'all make sure y'all hit the PayPal up. Hit the PayPal up. I need about 200. I need about 200. What song are we closing with? I like this one. I really like.
Why do you deny me? You chose the lie created for you just to hide in. Why obsessed about surviving? Fighting over creation made for all to thrive in. When love speaks, you say you're listening. I wonder if you hear me. Love is love, love is love. Always is, always was, will always be just love. Always complete, always enough. Love is love, love is love. Always is, always was, will always be just love. Always complete, always enough. Love is love. Was your heart ever my home? So cold that chaos sits on your throne. Stuck in a loop for how long? Your pride convinced the right is wrong. When I speak, you say you're listening. When will you ever hear me? Love is love, love is love. Always is, always was, will always be just love. Always complete, always enough. Love is love, love is love. Always is, always was, will always be just love. Always complete, always enough. Love is love. Was your heart ever my home? So cold that chaos sits on your throne. Stuck in a loop for how long? Your pride convinced that right is wrong. When I speak, you say you're listening. When will you ever hear me? Love is love, love is love. Always is, always was, will always be just love. Always complete, always enough. Love is love, love is love. Always is, always was, will always be just love. Always complete, always enough. Love is love.
Another one that I like is, hold on.
Why do you deny me? You chose the lie created. Why do you deny me? You chose the
I like so many of these.
About surviving, fighting over creation made for all to thriving. When love speaks, you say you're listening. I wonder if you hear me. Love is love, love is love. Always is, always was, will always be just love. Always complete, always enough. Love is love, love is love. Always is, always was, will always be just love. Always complete, always enough. Love is love. Was your heart ever my home? So cold that chaos sits on your throne. Stuck in a loop for how long? Your pride can.
Hold on, where's the other one at? It's so many of them. It's so many. Right? You gotta love all of them.
Oh,
Lady Letitia, how's everything?
once you know
Drop
you're
a
old,
invite if you
then you're
want to come up.
good as gold. But Cain slew Abel, so the story's been told. Got a lifetime of surprises. Every day the sun rises. All I know is can't turn back. Can't turn back now. Can't turn back. Can't turn back now. Can't go back. Can't go back. Can't turn back. Can't turn back now. I lived on a tightrope, never wanted to leave center. Always trying to figure out love. I am not the inventor. Got a lifetime of surprises. What I realize is every day the sun rises. Can't turn back. Can't turn back now. Can't turn back.
Y'all be always wanting to hear this one. Y'all love this one right here. I mean, I love it too, though.
If heaven is in your mind, you must be heaven sent. If heaven is a bind, you must be heaven sent. 'Cause I'm for you, and you're for me too. Yes, I need you, and you need me too. You must be heaven sent. Thought I was living life, then I met you. Feelings cut like a knife, could not forget you. Everything that I thought I knew was wrong. Who'd have known I missed out on love for so long? In that moment, it was crystal clear. If heaven is in your mind, you must be heaven sent. If heaven is a bind, you must be heaven sent. 'Cause I'm for you, and you're for me too. Yes, I need you, and you need me too. You must be heaven sent. I thought I had everything, I had the perfect plans, balancing total peace and all of life's demands. Never knew that I planned for a life so fake. Thank God that now I'm wide awake. In this moment, it's crystal clear. If heaven is in your mind, you must be heaven sent. If heaven is a bind, you must be heaven sent. 'Cause I'm for you, and you're for me too. Yes, I need you, and you need me too. You must be heaven sent. With you I'm achieving, now I'm believing we have something so real. With you I'm excited, and I am reminded heaven's more than how you feel. If heaven is in your mind, you must be heaven sent. Heaven sent. If heaven is a bind, you must be heaven sent. 'Cause I'm for you, and you're for me too. Yes, I need you, and you need me too. You must be heaven sent. If heaven is in your mind, you must be heaven sent. If heaven is a bind, you must be heaven sent. 'Cause I'm for you, and you're for me too. Yes, I need you, and you need me too. You must be heaven sent. 'Cause I'm for you, and you're for me too. Yes, I need you, and you need me too. You must be heaven sent. can serve your tea hot. We can make it ice cold. We can put it in a shot. Or we can make it real bold. Oh, oh. Beef on top of beef, oh yes. Yes, it's giving messy, real mess. We having black tea. So won't you come and take a sip? We serving black tea. But be careful not to slip. Black tea. Taste the drama real good. Do you want some black tea? In the YT neighborhood. Truth is moving on them streets, but it's caught between them lies. Who be grifting, who cheats? Who be sending round them spies? Beef on top of beef all day, every day. Troublemakers put on display. Do you want some black tea?